Do you ever feel like your processes are disjointed or your team's not on the same page? Then you're missing alignment within your operation, and bringing those tasks together and recognizing tasks that should be done by one individual and tasks that should be done by multiple individuals. On this edition of DC 101, we're tapping into Chris Hamley's knowledge from the Brecham Group, and we're learning just how to figure out how you may have some task segmentation, how to align that, how to get people on the same page, and how to recognize when one task should be a full-time job versus being just a task. This is DC 101.
Yeah, so it starts with understanding kind of the work content and what is critical to the success of each step of a process. And our goal is ultimately how do we keep the fewest number of people in each task as possible in order to make them as effective as possible. So take a cart picking environment where an employee basically has to build a cart, put all the orders they're going to pick onto it, then go pick those orders, then come back and break down that cart and distribute the individual orders to different pack stations or whatever that looks like. What we see is that with each of those changes in types of tasks they're doing, the first step is I'm building the cart, and then I have to pick, and then I have to tear the cart down. With each of those steps, we see that people get less effective because I'm doing it more often. I have more people that are having to make decisions independently. So therefore we get to an inconsistent application of a process, right? The more people we have touching it, the less likely we are to do it consistently. The other thing is that there's a natural productivity loss as people transition between tasks as well. We want to keep them in fewer tasks more often to make them more productive. We often call that task segmentation. So, how do you break those jobs up into kind of continuous bodies of work that somebody can be responsible for? Yeah, one of the things I like to tell people, or leaders in the building, is just go watch. Don't talk to them. Don't go out and socialize. Just simply stand back and watch what people do, and you'll naturally see where those task breaks should be thought about. It's because you'll see people congregated. You'll see one activity, and then all of a sudden, this change in direction where they've now got moved on to the next task. If you start watching for those elements, that creates that view of a natural task segment to consider staffing independently. So the first thing is understanding the time element involved, right? And it's observing and figuring out what the rate is of that component of that task. And once I do that, now I can start deciding of is that a full-time job or not? Can I put somebody there and replace 10 people doing one thing by putting one person there to do it all day? And so I have to understand the time component of it. The other thing is that what's the natural transition? How do I make it a smooth transition from one person to another then? And that could be staging, marking. What tools do I have to give them in order to make that really a clean transition? If I can answer those two questions and it makes sense to us, right, it's probably a good thing to go do.
For more information on how to get your operations to suck less, check out the Brecham Group.